Are we good? Okay, great. So welcome everybody today. We're very excited to have you join us this morning or this evening or this afternoon, depending on where you're located, because we have lots of newly admitted students from around the US and from across the globe that are joining us now. I see hundreds that are already here, so this is wonderful. And I know many more will be joining in the next few minutes. So today is for University of Florida. And in Gainesville today, it's a bright and sunny and 80+ degrees. We're right in the beginning of the springtime here, so we all love it when the weather turns. And the admissions are flowing. I've been checking with the Office of Admissions database system daily, and I see new admitted students every day. So welcome, and we're very happy you joined us today. We have a tremendous program for you. We have more than 20 of our current graduate staff, faculty, and current graduate students that are here to talk to you today, to give you their advice and to answer the many questions that you have. So we have several groups of individuals that are online today. We have students that have been admitted for our master's program across all the programs here in our Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. We have some students that have been admitted to our PhD programs across departments. And then we have some of you who've already decided, you've already picked UF. So congratulations, welcome to Gator Nation. And you've said that you're coming next fall. But we also have some of you that are still deciding. And we know and we understand that you've been admitted to several programs. You're very talented and you're trying to make your final decision. So we hope today's program will aid in you picking University of Florida and joining us here in the fall term. So a couple things before we get going. We've already posted the slides for today's program to the website. It's the same website where you logged on and RSVP'd to attend. So do not feel like you have to write everything down. We are also recording the program today, and we will have the recording posted here within a day or two. So you will have that as an option as well. So let's kick things off by introducing all of the many individuals that are here to chat with you today. Okay, so we'll start with Associate Dean.
Okay, hello. My name is Toshin Nishida, and I'm Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, and I'm also Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering. I'd like to extend a hearty welcome on behalf of the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering.
And my name is Mike Nazar. So again, welcome to all of you. You've heard from me many times. Some of you have attended previous webinars, or have you received emails or application fee waivers, or many, many different areas. So welcome today. We have a lot of great information for you. Krista Smith is here, our assistant director, but she's severely under the weather, so she's in the background. So she's here providing her support and to listen and perhaps answering some questions that are online. Professor Anderson here?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, I'm Travis Anderson. I'm a professor in the Chemical Engineering Department and the Ph.D. recruiting coordinator for the Chemical Engineering Department.
Good morning. I'm Christina Sapp. I do the graduate admissions for our graduate students in the CISE department.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julissa Nunez, and I'm the graduate admissions officer for the Electrical and Computer Engineering department.
Hi, I'm Pamela Simon, Evelyn Engineering Education, and I do the graduate admissions for our department.
Hi, my name is Paula Johns. I'm the graduate programs staff member for ESSE, which is Engineering School Sustainable Infrastructure and Environment. And we have Coastal, Civil, and Environmental Engineering Sciences.
Hello, my name is Jorge Sefer. I'm an associate professor. I'm the associate chair for graduate studies in the Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering. And I'm very happy to be here, and I'm happy that you're here too.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brittany Guerriere. I'm the graduate admissions advisor for the Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Department. It's wonderful to have you all here.
Hey, good morning. My name is Allison Beatty. I am part of the graduate staff that helps graduate students with MSc and nuclear engineering.
Good day, everyone. My name is Martine Angran, Director of F1 International Student Services with a team of 8 advisors to assist our 6,000 or so students. So always happy to be here to help you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Grace Law. I'm a biomedical engineering PhD student, so I'm glad to see you all.
Hello everyone, I am Sri Sadhan. I'm a master's student in Computer Science Department at University of Florida, and it's nice to talk with you all.
Uttam Madhavan, currently pursuing Masters in Electrical and Computer Engineering at the University of Florida, and I'm really looking forward to welcoming you all.
Hello everyone, I'm Bharat Kumar Gajula. I'm a final semester master graduate in electrical and computer engineering, and also public relations director for ITSA on UF. So glad to welcome you all.
Hi y'all, my name is Jabari Wilson. I'm in the engineering education department as a PhD candidate, and I'm glad to be able to share my experience with you guys. Thanks for joining.
Hey, I'm Sankalp Sharma. I'm an MS student in environmental engineering, and welcome everyone.
Hello, everybody. I'm Calvin. I'm a master's student in aerospace engineering in University of Florida. It's good to talk to you all.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kaylee Cunningham. I am a PhD student in the Material Science and Engineering program here at UF. And I actually also did my undergrad in the Nuclear Engineering program here at UF. So hopefully I can answer questions about both.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. So you can truly see we have an all-star, a rock star cast for you today. We're spanning all of our engineering and computing departments with our staff, with some faculty, and with some of our current graduate students. So we want to make the most of everybody's time today. So what we're going to do starting now, we'll have a series of speakers, and I'll call on individuals. We'll answer questions for the slides for the program. There's about 40 slides over the next hour, but we want you to be able to ask your questions. So starting right now, feel free to start putting any questions you have in the Q&A, and it might be most helpful if you address your question to a specific panelist by name or by department. That way, all 20 are not trying to answer every question. If it's a more broader topic, I'm sure that many of our panelists will jump in and answer. So go ahead and start asking your questions now. And as a reminder, the slides have been posted to the website already, and we're recording this, and that will be posted in the next couple days. So do not feel like you need to write everything down. So to start off with, we'll do some of the broad details about our university and our Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering with Associate Dean Toshi Nishida.
Thank you, Mike. And so first, I'd like to begin by giving an overview of the enterprise, the University of Florida. And some of these items here really emphasize some key facts about the university. First of all, it was established in 1853, and it's the oldest university in the state of Florida. It's a very large university spanning over 2,000 acres and 900 buildings. I'll talk about how many buildings comprise the College of Engineering. It is a large university in terms of number of students, over 60,000 students and nearly 20,000 graduate students. And then you'll see the numbers of PhD and master's students below. It is a comprehensive university comprising, and this number 14 is actually even larger. There are 16 colleges at the University of Florida and over 5,000 faculty, and is a top research university recording over $1 billion in annual research expenditures last year. Next slide, please. Now I'd like to talk about the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. It was founded over 100 years ago. It was named the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering due to a generous gift from alumnus Dr. Herbert Wertheim, which is part of a $300 million, which contributed a $300 million private-public partnership that has transformed the College of Engineering. There are 11 departments and 16 degree programs, over 300 tenure-track faculty and 70 instructional faculty, and nearly 12,000 engineering students. And the numbers of the undergraduate and graduate students are shown below. I'd like to take a little bit deeper dive in terms of the graduate students. On the next slide, please. And so this is the number of students who enrolled. A number of students in the two master's and PhD programs as of fall of 2024 by department and by degree concentrations. So we see agriculture and biological engineering, biomedical engineering, chemical engineering, computer science, computer information sciences, electrical engineering, computer engineering, engineering education, civil engineering, coastal engineering, environmental engineering sciences, industrial and systems engineering, mechanical engineering and aerospace engineering, materials, and nuclear engineering. And the total number of students by department are listed here. So this is a large and comprehensive College of Engineering. Next slide, please. And there's the university is highly regarded. And what's shown here are just a selection of national public rankings. And as you know, rankings are based on various criteria and various sources. So these are a number of sources so that you can take a look at many different evaluations of the university, including, and then these are the dates, the years give some, when these rankings were reported. So just looking at some, like 2024, the Forbes top college public, fifth in Money Magazine Best College in America 2024, and one of the top 10 new Ivies by Forbes 2024. So just an example of the high regard for the University of Florida. Next slide, please. Now then, by the departments in the College of Engineering, so as you see here, these are listings of the best graduate schools per the 2024 U.S. News and World Report. As you can see, all the departments in the College of Engineering are in the top 20 and span from number 3, agriculture and biological engineering, and so on. And so you can see yourself at a highly regarded graduate program in the College of Engineering. Next slide, please. In terms of the infrastructure, we talked about the large infrastructure at the University of Florida, and the College of Engineering itself has over 1 million gross square feet of engineering facilities, comprising more than 60 buildings. And these include research labs, offices, classrooms, and teaching labs, and so on. And I'll talk about some specific buildings next. Next slide, please. And so the namesake for the college, Dr. Herbert Wertheim, and there's a laboratory which is opened in 2021 called the Herbert Wertheim Laboratory for Engineering Excellence. And this is, as I mentioned, part of the $300 million public-private partnership that was based on the $50 million catalyst gift from Dr. Herbert Wertheim. And this has contributed to the infrastructure, tremendous infrastructure in the college. In this particular building, there are faculty and student spaces for cross-disciplinary collaboration, a state-of-the-art biotech lab, as well as many prototyping labs. And this opened, as mentioned, in 2021. And then the next slide shows the most recent addition, which is the Starship, if you will, for AI research and applications. And this is called the Malachowski Hall for Data Science and Information Technology, after another alumnus of the college and university, Chris Malachowski, EC alumnus, who is one of the co-founders of NVIDIA. And through his generous support, this building was catalyzed, and this building is the headquarters for the departments of Computer Information Science and Engineering and Electrical and Computer Engineering. It also houses the Florida Institute for Cybersecurity Research and the Warren B. Noms Institute for the Connected World, as well as many other labs. And there, as I mentioned, many labs and maker spaces that are designed to encourage cross collaborations. And this has become, since it opened in November 2023, one of the most popular buildings for students to study in. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, one of the alumnus is of college, Chris Malachowski. He's the co-founder of NVIDIA. And there is a very important strategic partnership between UF and NVIDIA focused on AI. UF houses the fastest AI supercomputer in higher education. And this was true in 2021. And then recently, the university announced the upgrade after only 4 years of the NVIDIA AI cluster to the latest one. So this is basically what's shown here is a 2021 machine that had 140 NVIDIA DGX A100 systems. And this is being replaced by the NVIDIA DGX latest B200 systems. And this continues to place UF and the College of Engineering at the top of universities that have AI capabilities. And this AI capability is used for research as well as for teaching students in terms of AI. The university has hired over 100 AI faculty, many in the College of Engineering. And so I'd like to just summarize that the university, the college, departments, and the research infrastructure are outstanding. And we look forward to seeing you here. And in the next slides, they'll describe, the departments as well as the process for enrolling. Over to you, Mike.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is just, in my mind, another example of how we all take pride, and it's very important to us to have talented and great students come to University of Florida. And in the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering, we have our senior associate dean who's taking time out of his day today, who's usually triple booked with events at almost all the time, because it's very important at the highest levels here for us to reach out to the admitted students and let us know how much we value you and we would like for you to come here to University of Florida. Okay, we have lots and lots of international students and many that are online today that have been admitted. And I know you have a series of extra questions and concerns where you would like to have guidance. So we've invited Martine, high-level director from our International Center, to go over the latest information and answer your questions.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this webinar and to speak to our incoming students. So my name is Martine. As Mike Nazareth mentioned, I am Director of F1 International Student Services. I've had the pleasure of working here for almost 20 years this coming January in multiple areas. So I have a team of 8 F1 advisors who work with about 6,000 F1 students, and that is around 4,500 enrolled and about another 1,500 or so on OPT and STEM OPT. So we are responsible for F1 students from the time they start at UF through the time that they complete their OPT or STEM OPT. Next slide. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're not going to be able to go into detail of every single thing. You are able to ask some questions in the Q&A, and I'll respond throughout after I speak on many topics. I will respond to general questions, but you can scan this QR code and see all the detailed information about everything listed here. Next slide. So we'll first talk about the cost for the I-20 proof of funds. As a student starting this year, these numbers are subject to change, but currently for graduate students, it is $57,555, which includes tuition and living expenses, and some fees related to being here at UF. If you are awarded the Achievement Award, you will instead have to show $53,055 per year. Now, while you are expected to support your studies throughout the entire time, we are only required to request proof of funds for the first academic year. And of course, you will be required to continue to pay for your tuition while you're still in your program. The I-20 process is initiated by the academic department. So if you're admitted, Your department will submit an I-20 request for you. We will review whether or not they advise us that you have the achievement award, and then we'll update some instructions so that you can be informed how much you specifically have to show in proof of funds. It will be an email that is sent to you that tells you to log in with your GatorLink credentials. So make sure that you have created your GatorLink account, and then you will be able to log in and apply for your I-20. Everything you need to know about the I-20 process is within the application. So we do ask that you pay attention and read through that information. If you have any questions, we're happy to help clarify anything. Each part of the application has different save or submit aspects. If you click on the internal save, you can go back in and modify your application. If you click on the internal submit, that specific query will be locked and you won't be able to edit it. So make sure your information that you write in is accurate. And then when you're done with all the separate aspects of the application, there's one big button at the very top that says Submit Application. Until you click on that, your application itself is not in queue for us to review. So once you click on it, you will get a pop-up that confirms that your application has been submitted with a date and time. After you submit your application, your specific F1 advisor will review it. Now, because we have so many students enrolling, we have a lot of students. The number I gave you earlier breaks down to around 750, 800 students per F1 advisor. So we definitely request your patience as we go through each application to process in a timely manner. And then we will send you an email to let you know how to download your I-20. I-20s are no longer mailed or emailed per se. You simply have to log into the same portal to download your I-20 once you're informed that it is ready. The emails will all be sent to the same email address that you use to apply to UF. So make sure you're checking that inbox, also the spam or junk folder just in case. And then after you start at UF, your emails will go to your GatorLink. So right now we only have your personal, and that's where we are sending all information. Next slide. After you receive your I-20, then you will be required to pay the U.S. Department SEVIS fee, and then you'll be able to complete your form DS-160. The DS-160 is the visa application form. That should not be completed before you get your I-20, as there's information that you will need from your I-20 to do that application. Once you submit that application for the actual visa appointment, you will be able to schedule your in-person interview with the consulate office. Among other documents that you will need for your visa appointment includes your printed documents. So do not just take your phone and try to show them your document on your phone. Print it and take them with you. Your I-20, admission letter, proof of funds, and of course your passport, as they will require that to stamp your visa into. Once you obtain your F1 visa, then you'll schedule your flight. Do not schedule a flight prior because you never know how long the F1 visa processing takes, as well as previously to that, your I-20. You are allowed to enter the US up to 30 days prior to the start date on your I-20. If you're admitted for fall, that will have an August 21st start date, and then you will be able to enter if you have your visa as well as early as July 22nd or later. Once you're in the US, you are required to complete our mandatory online check-in. It is the easiest 20-minute check-in you'll probably ever do, and it's required. So therefore, do not forget to do it. And if you don't, we cannot verify your SEVIS record, and then you would be out of status. So we want to make sure that you take care of that as soon as you enter the US. And then, of course, you register full-time for your classes. You may be able to choose some classes now. That's fine. You can, start choosing your classes. But definitely, by the time you're in the US with the first day of classes on August 21st, you must be registered full-time. We'll talk a little bit more about what that full-time requirement is. Arriving at Gainesville, travel with your I-20, admission letter, visa, passport, proof of funds on your person. Do not pack them in your luggage. Make a copy of all those documents just in case. Now, again, your I-20 is saved into your portal, so you'll always have a copy available to you. Keep in mind that when you enter the US, a lot of students are probably moving out the same apartments that you're looking to move into. So you may not want to arrive much more than, 10, 15 days before the start of classes, but you could arrive up to 30 days in advance. Next slide. So our check-in process, again, is online. You do not have to do it in person. You don't have to come to our office for that. Everything is done online. In fact, you can even start it while abroad, but there's one final document that you'll need, and it will not be provided to you until you actually enter the US at the port of entry. It will be provided to you electronically, so that's the last part that you'll do after you arrive. Now, there are deadlines applicable to the semester. Scan the QR code. You will see the official UF deadlines calendar. Your academic department may have some internal deadlines as well, so make sure you meet all those deadlines. The registration, to not have a late fee. First day of classes, you must be registered full-time. There's a drop-add period where you can switch around classes in case one works better for you than another. And then, of course, there's the fee payment deadline. Now, you may be waiting on your parents or whomever may be helping you pay tuition to send you the full amount to pay for your tuition and fees. But if you don't pay something, your classes will be canceled and that will affect your F1 status. So make sure that once you arrive, you register full-time prior to the start of classes. Go ahead and go online and pay a nominal amount. If you've got $50 to pay towards that in the meantime, pay that. But of course, all of your fees need to be paid prior to the deadline so that you don't have a late fee on that as well. But do not let the payment deadline pass without something being paid so that your classes are not dropped. Next slide. All right, so registration requirements for a graduate student is 9 credits every fall, every spring. And out of those 9 credits, you must have at least 6 credits in person. The other 3 can be online or hybrid, but at least 6 of the 9 credits must be in person, okay? If you're starting in the summer, full-time would be 6 credits, but typically the admission is for a fall semester or a spring. Employment. I know a lot of our students are interested in working while they are in the US. As an F1 student, you are allowed to work on the University of Florida campus only if you are a UF student, and you are limited to 20 hours per week. You may hear some domestic students say they can work 30 or so hours. That may be true for our domestic, permanent residents, or US citizen students, but for an F1, it is limited to 20 hours maximum. If for some reason you're coming as a J1, that's also the same limit there. There's another team at the UFIC that works with the J1 students, but I wanted to go ahead and say that, as every now and again, we have someone attend who might decide to come on a J1. You cannot work off campus at all in your first academic year. If you do receive an internship or training opportunity, whatever the employer may call it, whether it's co-op, externship, shadow, whatever they maybe call it, if it is not for UF, you are going to need authorization in order to engage in that activity. And those authorizations come by the name of curricular practical training, which is CPT while you're in your program, or after you graduate, optional practical training, which is OPT. So there are rules to all of that. Scan the QR codes, you'll see more information online. Next slide. So as I mentioned, we have 8 core F1 advisors along with some additional folks here in our office to help with a lot of processes. Any questions you have, we have a contact form. When you send your email through that contact form, your F1 advisor will receive it. And if they're out of office, whoever's helping to back up will receive it. So there's just one stop to send your email and we'll be able to assist you within that system. There's a lot of information we don't go over here, but we want to definitely tell you the preliminary important information as you decide if or that you're coming to UF and doing your I-20 application. Something to reiterate again is that everything will go to your personal information, personal email for the I-20 application, and all information will be provided within those instructions. And make sure to click at the very top, submit application when you're done to make sure that your application is in queue. I think that's it for me. I'll be in the background answering some questions directly related to F1 in the Q&A. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Martine. That's very valuable information. We have a lot of international students, so they have some extra concerns. And again, she'll be answering the questions online in the Q&A. We have more than 125 questions that are already out there. Maybe 2/3 have been answered, but they continue to roll in. So continue to put your questions in the Q&A. Try to address it by the department or program that you've been admitted to or the panelist's first name so individuals know who to respond to. All right, we're going to move on to the next section of the presentation, but we do have one poll question for you today. So I will ask Dallas to put this poll question up, and it's pretty simple. The question is, do you plan to enroll at the University of Florida? So yes, you plan. No, you do not plan, or you are still deciding. And that's the only question that we're going to ask of you today. So we're going to move on to some other topics here. And I'm going to call on several of our panelists from the slides here on out so they can give you some of their input, or if they've been responding to a lot of the same questions in the chat, that they can have some more detailed time to address it. So I would say at least 2/3, 65 or 70% of the students that are online today, more than 350 or 400, have been admitted to the master's degree. So for the master's degree at University of Florida here in engineering and computing, it's typically 2 years, which is 4 semesters, 16 weeks each. Fall, spring. Fall is mid-August to early December. Spring is early January to late April. And most students are not here in the summer months. So usually 4 semesters. A few might be able to do it in 3. That's for the on-campus program, where you get more knowledge in a specific area, just in courses, get the degree, and then go on for search for employment. Some of the students do this thesis-based because they want to continue to the PhD after. So in most of our departments, you could have that option. We do have EDGE. EDGE is our online program where some of you have applied to that and been admitted. We do not have online masters in all of our departments, but at least half or 2/3. It's the same classes filmed live. You watch it live, or they're posted to the web, the recordings, and you can view it later that day if you're working. The biggest difference is a significant reduction in the tuition cost because you don't move to Gainesville. You stay in your current location. And then, of course, there's the ones that want to continue to the PhD. They know that right from the start when they're doing the master's, so they could have thesis or other research-based options. So these are the actual numbers. This was as of yesterday. So we have over 3,000, almost 3,100 master's applications across all departments, and 53% have been admitted so far, and will be continuing. I didn't have a chance to look this morning, but every day there's a few more that are admitted, and we expect to have several hundred more that are admitted. We typically have in the 700 or 800 range of new master's students that enroll in the college each fall. So let me call on 2 of our master's students, and you could just talk about what it's like to be a master's student here, how you feel about University of Florida. So it's your words and not my words or someone else's. Let's start with Uthra that's in the Master's of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Would you like to just say a few words about your experience in the master's here?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I have joined a master's program in electrical and computer engineering in fall 2024. And the moment I landed here, I really felt it was just Gainesville was just a home away from home, as the climate and everything was like really similar to how it was back in India. And I have taken up courses with specialization in VLSI, verification and validation domain. And I have also taken a course which involves a semiconductor devices fabrication laboratory, where I got hands-on experience in fabricating the diodes, and I even had the experience to go to the clean room, and it was really cool experiencing the clean room where we get to know the hands-on experience in whatever we are learning. And I also like to mention that I was part of the IGSA team and the team last year, which is a team for the dance, and I was really involved and interested in participating in cultural programs and activities. I would also like to mention about the Alan and Kathy Feed and Folk Pantry, which supported students every week. Like every week, we were allowed to take up stuff once a week, and it really helps students to meet the basic necessities like bread, milk, and cereals. So I really felt that that was cool, and it really helped us a lot as international students. Yeah.
Okay, great, Uthra. We're glad you're having a good experience here at University of Florida. How about Calvin? Calvin is one of our master's students in mechanical and aerospace engineering. If you'd like to talk about your experience here in the master's program.
Hey, I'm Calvin. Nice to meet you. I'm doing my master's in aerospace engineering. I started fall 2024. Um, I also did an internship. The F1 advisors were all very cool. My graduate staff was very cool with my CPD process. I also worked in nanostructure energy systems lab where I was an volunteer in the lab, but it was really cool. I got to work on a lot of projects. I got to meet a lot of people. Extracurricular activities, I mean the football, the basketball games, they're all wonderful. It's pretty great to watch people run around and people shouting, and it gives you morale. It gives you a lot of so University of Florida as a whole is one of the best places to, and it's it's the best. I'm glad I chose it.
All right, thank you, Calvin. And I too agree with University of Florida basketball program. I'm a season basketball ticket holder, and I can't wait to watch them in the Sweet 16 tomorrow night versus Maryland. So very exciting. So for those of you all of you that have received admits for master's or PhD, your deadline is April 15th to accept or decline the offer if you have not done that already. So you've received these instructions in your official admission offer letters. So please be sure to accept or decline online, because that will update many systems across our campus. You're also asked, I believe in most cases, to send something back to the main graduate staff in each department or sign a document, etc. That's super important too. But if you don't do it online and update all these systems, you'll continue to get messaging because they won't know about your official decision. So that's very, very important. So we have a lot of important employees here today, and I would like to call on a few of them to talk to you about what they feel is important, maybe some of the questions they're answering now or items that they want you to know. I know very recently in the CISE department, there's been a great wave of admits for computer science and masters. So, and Christina's getting a lot of questions in the Q&A. So we'll start with you, Christina. Anything that's important to bring up?
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, so I look at these daily. So as many of you are being admitted into our program, I do check these. Actually, I check them several times a day because they can change within 5 minutes. It's important to look over if you are in our College of Engineering, which obviously you're on here, and you do not live in Florida, you are eligible for the Achievement Award. I get a lot of questions about the Achievement Award. Can you work as an RA or a TA? No, you cannot do both. However, for our department, CISE, our assistantships go to our PhD students. So please go ahead and accept this offer. Send it back to me. As Mike said, make sure you push the accept button online as well. But I also need the copy. Once I receive the copy, then I request your I-20. So I don't do your I-20 request until that's done. That was a lot of questions that are being asked. Registration also has been common right now. You will go to your one UFL account and look at your registration appointment. Each student has a different registration appointment, so that's where you will go to find that. And I believe that was most of our questions. So, one more. Several of you have chosen class. We no longer offer class through our department, so I am in the process of getting them changed. Please bear with me. I've requested it twice from the Office of Admissions. I am going to also send another request today to see about getting all of those changed. There's not too many, but I will be working on getting those changed. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, great. Thank you, Christina. I'm also noticing a large wave of questions for Professor Jorge Seafair in Industrial and Systems Engineering, and I know they have a large batch of PhD admits, so I will have him talk at this time about anything he'd like to update you.
I think the question I've seen the most is about funding decisions. So what we're doing what we're doing now is the decisions that you have already are based on academics, that's admissions. Funding decisions are coming, and that depends on the faculty member. So we share the material from all the students to our faculty in general, and they are deciding if they want to fund a student and who they want to fund. They will notify us, and they will notify the students directly. And then I encourage you to reach out to faculty who you feel like you like to work with, and then get that process started. So we already notified some of the students about funding decisions, but that's an ongoing process. I think that's that's kind of the bulk of the questions I've seen in the chat that I've been answering.
Okay, thank you very much. Our two newer programs in the last year and this fall are Masters of Applied Data Science and Masters of Artificial Intelligence Systems, getting a tremendous amount of interest from international students. So Pam is with us today. If you'd like to update on anything you're experiencing, Pam.
Hi, we are experiencing a lot of applications for our area, being we do have two new programs. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email me. I am here to help. You as incoming for fall of 2025 will actually be our second cohort for the program.
Okay, so continue to put in the chat with Pam for any questions along those lines. So Martine went over some of the costs for international students, so this talks a little bit more about it. These two charts here take the top 10 rankings for public universities in the US, of which Florida is one of those, but we actually rank number one when you look at tuition. So our tuition dollars, charges to students are highly economical, especially compared to some schools, which are nearly double those costs across the US. And the cost of living in Gainesville, we find, at least according to this ranking, is extremely reasonable compared to some of the bigger cities. The link at the bottom of this page that's cost/graduate/cost, that gives an estimate of next year's cost by the financial offices at UF. Some of those costs in there will be applicable to you. Some, they may not be relevant to you. They kind of add in a whole bunch of extra factors. But it's around this $30,000 for out-of-state or international non-Florida residents, and then just over 12 for the Florida residents. So let me call on a couple of our students here and let them talk about what they feel the cost is like in Gainesville and their experiences. And later in the slides, we'll talk about housing recommendations and stuff. I know Jabari Wilson has been here for a few years. And he's in PhD program, so he probably has some advice and guidance and can talk about the costs in Gainesville. Jabari?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have been here for a while, to be honest. I would say I had pretty good experience finding apartments. If you want to have a roommate, then of course that's going to be more economic. Definitely recommend it if you have somebody you're willing to live with. But if you want to find your own place, finding a 1-1 or a 2-1 should be pretty reasonable. I've had better luck in Gainesville than I have in other cities that I've stayed, so that's very good. Then grocery prices, gas prices, those types of things aren't too outrageous, and we make a pretty good living wage from whatever assistantship or fellowship you're placed on, especially if you choose to accept any of the, I want to say, direct unsubsidized loans or anything like that as a little boost. If you're eligible to do that, then it's definitely a good setup. You'll be pretty comfortable, I think.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jabari. As far as the funding, Christina mentioned,
problem.
so there is one guaranteed scholarship for new master students, and these are for non-Florida residents. So these are primarily those that are from other states in the United States or from other countries. It's not applicable for Florida, state of Florida residents, because the tuition is already vastly cheaper. So it's $4,500, and the way that works is you get $1,500 off your tuition for 3 straight semesters. It's guaranteed, it's automatic. We don't have a specific number of these to give out. We give them out to all students who meet that criteria. As long as you're coming and enrolling on campus in Gainesville, it's not valid for online or Edge because again, that cheaper is vastly different. And it doesn't matter which department, all of our engineering and computing. And as Christina mentioned, those that applied to class, she is switching those over for you. It can take a little longer for some, but then you will be eligible and we will manage all of that. So that's the main funding option. There's not a lot of other funding areas for new master students. I do see some students that are able to get some kind of assistantship maybe in their second year of studies, but this is a small number, and the onus would be on the student to reach out to a faculty with funding, likely have to do some research and work in their lab. The majority of the students do pay their own way for the new master students. Let's move on to the PhD programs now, and why don't we start by having one of our other panelists who's a professor, Travis Anderson in chemical engineering, talk about what it's like in a PhD program here at University of Florida.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. So, so I can speak kind of like I can try to put on both hats here. Being a UF alumni, I can speak to the student experience when I was here from 2004 to 2008, and now as a professor. I mean, it's it's a great experience. I agree with kind of where you are on the slide, with typical time being kind of 4.5 to 5 years. I think one thing I do want to be clear about is that you do not need to have a master's degree. You can directly enter from your bachelor's degree. You complete the master's program requirements as part of the PhD. Every department is a little different with their matching process and kind of how you get matched up to your advisors. The Chemie department, we kind of have a matching process in the first semester, where at the end of the first semester, the students are matched. In other departments, I know you kind of directly interface with your advisors and come in. There's it takes a finite amount of time to get through all the class requirements. In chemical engineering, we kind of typically try to get the classes out of the way, early on in the program so you can focus on your research. But, again, the requirements are different for each department. In our department, we have all the students taking their core classes in the first semester, the core requirements, and then we just have one additional required class, and then, a series of electives, some in the Chemie department and others across other departments. I do think there's a very broad spectrum of offerings, and it's really great to take classes in other departments. From my experience, I took my Chemie required classes, but I also was able to take, a lot of specialized classes in material science, on like electron microscopy or materials analysis. And also classes in the electrical engineering department on semiconductor physics. And I think it kind of made my career very well-rounded having those opportunities. Mike, is there anything else you want me to cover?
I think that's good. That's a great overview. Thank you very much. Let's have one of our PhD students chime in. I have this slide on funding. Perhaps she can chat some about hers, and I can also touch base on this. But Kaylee is a PhD student in material science engineering. So how's your experience been here in the PhD program?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So I am currently on the National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship. Getting that fellowship, I actually applied to it my last year of undergrad, and UF actually offers a course for first-year PhD students and senior undergraduate students to prepare an application for this fellowship. So that's definitely something that you can check out or look into. But I am currently taking my coursework online and located physically at Los Alamos National Laboratory doing my research. So part of my funding is also coming from a national laboratory. So that's another great part of UF is you have these opportunities to get hands-on experience and build connections and network in these national laboratory environments. So yeah, that's where my funding comes from right now. UF was super supportive in kind of getting that experience, but also for masters, if you're interested in nuclear engineering or one of the other STEM fields connected to nuclear engineering, maybe nuclear applications, and you are a female, the International Atomic Energy Agency actually sponsors an annual international fellowship to fund your master's education. It's called the Marie Curie Fellowship. So I would also definitely look into that and check that out. But overall, the assistantships for PhD are very, very reasonable through UF. Living in Gainesville, I mentioned I did undergrad there. It is so much more affordable. I did my master's at MIT in Boston, and it was so expensive living on a very similar, only like a $2,000 or $3,000 difference in stipend. So the cost of living is so much more comfortable. So that's another great thing about living in Gainesville.
Great, thank you, Kaylee. So for those of you that were admitted PhD and being offered fellowship, there's always three key components. One, it's got a tuition waiver. So whether you're in-state resident, out-of-state resident, international, it covers that. You usually get what's called Gator Grad Care, and Gator Grad Care is our student health insurance so that you would be covered for any medical needs. And there's also options for that if you have a spouse or if you have children. So that's helpful. And then, of course, the living stipend, so can pay rent and pay for your groceries and utilities and do a few fun things. And the minimum for that is usually around $32K here. So these are some of, there are certainly other options as well. And do stay in close contact with the key graduate staff and faculty for any of those of you who still have questions with that. Okay, so let's move to some other topics now. And one of those, which is very critical and very important for a lot of you, is if you come to University of Florida, what's going to take place when you're getting close to graduate for assistance in getting jobs or getting co-ops or internships. So we have a large-scale operation for that. And let's see if there's some of our students who've worked with our Career Connection Center, if they'd like to tell you about it. How about Sanklap Sharma for that's a master's in SE? Have you worked with the Career Connection Center? Is Sanklap still on with us today? Maybe he had to move on. Okay, how about Grace in biomedical engineering? Have you worked with the Career Connection Center for any activities?
So this spring semester, I joined the Career Connection Center for the Masters and PhD Connects meetup. So it was basically a more semi-formal opportunity to meet with industry representatives across the country with in a more cocktail style to have an interactions on how the work culture is there, if they are taking on new interns for the upcoming summer and all that. So that was a very great opportunity to not just learn about the company, but also learn about how the workplace is, how that culture goes on, and how that experience goes on to build graduates and both masters and PhD students. So I think that's a great opportunity. I see over here we have the BME Industry and Alumni Connects. That's also a great opportunity that the biomedical engineering department organizes annually together with the undergraduate research day. So what happens is that they do invite biomedical companies to come along for, as you can see, a number of biomedical companies ranging across the different branches of biomedical engineering. So it could be companies that are more based in biomechanics, biomaterials, neuroengineering, cell and cancer engineering, and cell and tissue engineering. And all that happens over there is you network, you come in, dress formally, you get to interact with the reps and have potential conversations on opportunities ranging from internships to more permanent roles. So yeah, that's what I know about the Career Connection Center.
Great, thank you. So not only do we have a large-scale enterprise in the Career Connection Center, it's a large office on 2 floors of our rights union with 30 or 40 employees, and their entire mission is to help all of the University of Florida students, bachelor students, master students, and PhD students to get jobs. We have 2 large-scale events, career fairs, where we have 600 plus companies that come for a couple days, once in the fall, once in the spring term. And then we have companies that come individually every single week of the year. So they're there to help you with getting employment and help you with getting jobs or internships and co-ops as well during the summer or other months. So we have that's provided for the whole campus, every major on campus. But then, as Grace mentioned, many of our engineering departments have individual events just for their own students. So it could be more selective on a different major. So another one that does that is SE. So I'm going to let Paula Johns talk about that. Or Paula, anything else that you wanted to bring up from today's webinar, answering questions for students?
Of course. So we have our Evening with Industry event twice a year in the fall and spring. And our fall event is usually larger than our spring event now. Our fall events usually have about 100 employers, and our spring events, we're keeping that a little bit smaller, just depending on student situation, because a lot of students usually have jobs by the time they graduate in the spring. So, but we, for our larger event, we usually are in the O'Connell Center, which is where primarily most of our basketball games at UF take place. And then for our smaller event, we're in the Champions Club, which overlooks the stadium at UF. So that's really cool. We have great venues and great participation from the employers that come out and meet with our students. We host this event for our graduate students and for our undergrad students. And so we encourage all of our students to come out, whether they're just starting in their program, they can start building those industry connections from the get-go, or if they want to volunteer and get those personal one-on-one times with the employers even before the event starts, we encourage that as well. Regarding everything that we've gone over today, I will want to just mention that every department is a little bit different from the other. We have some similarities, of course, but when it comes to admissions, we all have some little differences here and there. So please make sure you're reaching out to your department and getting the information you need to decide on if you want to come to UF, which we hope you do.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Paula. So there's lots of fun stuff that goes on at University of Florida. It's not just all about taking classes and exams and doing research. So let's start with living. We touched on that a little bit earlier. The majority of our graduate students do tend to live off campus. There's a little bit of housing on campus, but we're going through a process at UF where they're tearing down old on-campus housing for graduate students that needs to be. It's 50 and 60 years old, and then there'll be a decade of rebuilding. So many of them are off campus. So let's let, for some of our students that have not spoke yet, Sai, Shri, you're here from computer science. Do you want to talk about living in town? Where do you search? Where do you go? What does it cost?
Sure, Mike. So talking about the off-campus staying, currently I'm staying in Stone Age apartments, but there are a lot of housing that Indian graduate students choose. So apart from Stonebridge, there's other communities called Niche, BLVD, or the Greenwich apartments, the Centric, that we can see a lot of Indian communities stay in these surroundings. And also, I would say these are one of the safest places where we can stay. Apart from that, there is also we can go for Korea Village or the Pavilion. So those are other two that we can opt for. And coming to the rent, I would say it would be around $1,800 something per month. So if it's for 3 BHK, and if you're taking a private room, like for instance, Stonish apartment, if you're taking a private room, it would be costing you around $500, and that would be same for the niche apartment as well. It will be around $500 to $550 for each person. And if you're trying to share a room, then it could be $300 to $350 each. So that would be an estimation, if you want to stay in these communities.
Okay, good. And how do you get back and forth to campus? Do you have to have a car or use the buses or?
Now, generally, University of Florida have RTS buses that goes around to the university every now and then. So there are like a lot of frequencies happening. If you wanna commute through Stonehenge Apartment to university, you can have number 12, number 37, 33, 34, and number 12. There are a lot of buses and they go on frequently. So it's pretty easy to travel between Stonehenge and the university, and I think it's gonna be around less than 10 minutes if you want to go from Stonehenge or from these communities to university.
Good, thank you. So, some graduate students have cars, but most of the international students do not, and we do provide the busing and other transportation avenues here for you, so you would do just fine with that. So there's lots and lots of fun things to do when you're here at University of Florida. So let's let a few more students talk about some of these. So Calvin, what do you do for fun when you're not in class or the lab? Oh, there you
Hey,
are.
yep, I'm sorry. I probably would. I am probably most of the time at the library or at in my room, but during the weekends, I chill out with my friends. I hang out at my friend's place or go to a basketball game. Basketball games are really fun. Or when the season's really happening, the football games are really fun. Um, I used to I used to rent cars, go to different places. I visited the Santa Fe Planetarium last week, and it was really fun. It was really a lot of information, and there's a lot of sightseeing and trails to do around. It's just like a 10-minute walk from my room to a trail where I frequently go. It's Gainesville has a lot of spots um, to relax and be with yourself. So
Okay, good. Good, thank you. How about Kaylee? You've been here for a little while. What are some of the fun things that you like to do?
Yeah, for sure. One of my favorite things to do was going to football games on campus. They're always a blast. But if you saw the picture of the really nice looking pool on the last slide, I think it was at the Niche, the housing complex. I actually lived there for 2 years, my last 2 years in undergrad. So me and my friends spent quite a bit of time at that gorgeous pool, enjoying the sun, being outside. It's a beautiful place. There's also quite a few natural springs, natural freshwater springs in the area where the temperature is like, I think it's like 72 degrees is the temperature of the water year. And you can go kayaking there and see manatees in this like crystal clear water. They'll come up and bump your kayak. Super cool.
Okay, great, thank you. And let's get another perspective from Jabari. Jabari, I know that you were single when you first started at University of Florida, and then now you're a family man. So what are some things in the town and the community that you like to do?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was listening to everybody else. I'm like, yeah, football was fun. Going downtown, the downtown seems pretty nice, but I have two little boys. They are 3 and 2 right now. I really enjoy taking them to Depot Park. I let them run around there. We'll throw their little, 12-volt ride around car in the back of the truck and let them drive around out there. There's also a playground. There's another playground off of, I want to say 8th and 34th Street. That's pretty big that I like to take them to. And then maybe 30, 45 minutes away, there's Amber Brook Farms where they do different seasons. So I've taken them out there to pick strawberries. They have blueberries. They'll do sunflower season. I think corn is coming up and something else that's escaping me right now. But big strawberry festival out there was really fun to take them to. And then when I don't have the boys, I enjoy a game of billiards. So I'll go downtown and find somewhere to, shoot pool with my friends. And what I didn't hear mentioned was the gymnastics meets. The gymnastics meets are electric. So if you like gymnastics, or even if you don't know anything about them, go to one. You'll have a great time.
All right, thank you. And I agree with you on Amber Brook Farms. I actually have 2 granddaughters here, almost same age 4 and age 2, and we were just picking strawberries there a couple weeks ago. So that is a great place to go. So, okay, we have, as I mentioned, a lot of international students online today, and then quite a few from India. So we have an Indian Graduate Student Association here to help with that community. And I've invited one of the officers, Barath, if you'd like to talk about your organization and what you do to assist the new admits.
Hello everyone, I'm Bharat Kumar Gajala. So IGSA, referred to Indian Graduate Student Association on campus. The main motto of IGSA is not the cultural events that do, but the help we give for the students, starting with your admission process till you reach Gainesville and have a happy life here. Uh, I mean, when I started my application process and I got the admit to UF, IGSA was always with me helping. The president then was Sajid Mohammed, who helped me all the way to feel Gainesville as my second home after my home. To say mostly about IGSA, it's a non-profit organization. We don't do any fundraising outside the campus. We do all the events with the college funded things. The main hosted events by IGSA are Diwali in our fall semester and Holi in spring semester, which are like big shot things. We almost spend like money of Indian wedding, a good wedding kind of amount on these. We really enjoy a lot by seeing the pictures itself. You can get to know what are the things we do. The main thing, yeah, is to help you all the way about IGSC.
Okay, and you have some resources here for them to be involved with the WhatsApp group and other areas and to reach out to you, correct? And the other officers.
Yeah, I do have the WhatsApp groups right now. And
Do you see it on the slide here? Is that correct?
yes. So we also have a sister group with us. It's called Lasya, which mainly is into dance kind of thing. We work together all the way, and I have Sri Sadhan, vice president for Lasya.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So do know that if you have been admitted and you're from India, you'll have some extra assistance. So there's lots of other things that are beyond Gainesville, within not too far away. So let's see. Would staff like to talk about this? Brittany or Allison or Jaleesa? I don't think I've had a chance for any of you to speak today.
Hi, everybody. I'd be happy to share a little bit about this. I've lived in Florida my whole life, but I've been in Gainesville for, wow, 12 years now. So I do feel that Gainesville is home for me now. I've really come to love this city, and I love the location of it because we have access to so much around us. Even though we may not be like some of those main big city hubs, we still get that small town feel, and you definitely get that college town feel, but then you can easily take, a bus or a ride share over to Tampa or Orlando or Jacksonville and get access to those big city events. Things like Disney and Universal. So amusement parks are a lot of fun. But we also have a lot going on in town. The downtown and midtown scene is a lot of fun. We have some great music and nightlife options there. And I also just love the art in Gainesville. We have this wonderful Spring Arts Festival every year that is absolutely gorgeous downtown, and it's perfect time of year to be outside. So I think there's a lot to do in Gainesville outside. As you can see, we have these beautiful walkways and then access to those springs and local breweries. I would say Gainesville has an unusual amount of local breweries, but they're really quite awesome and wonderful hangout spots. And even to just network locally. I've gone to a few networking events. So sometimes I go there to casually hang out with friends. Sometimes I'm meeting up with groups specifically. So lots to do. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I could brag about Florida all day long.
Great. Thank you so much. We're getting ready to wrap up the slides here. Jaleesa or Allison, is there any areas you'd like to add or questions you've been answering a lot of today for the newly admitted students?
Go ahead.
Sorry. I'd love to touch on just a couple things. First, I just wanted to reiterate something that Christina said and also clarify something that Christina said earlier. Please accept the Achievement Award. I have a lot of students that accept in the portal and don't send me the signed AA letter. While it's true that what Christina said, that you cannot have an AA and an assistantship at the same time, it doesn't prohibit you from getting an assistantship. So please, in the meantime, accept the AA so that you can have that on your I-20 and that deduction from the amount that you owe. And if you're later able to get an assistantship, you can simply drop the Achievement Award. So please make sure that you accept and send those letters so that we can get your I-20s requested. And then two other quick questions that I have seen. Can I take courses outside of ECE? Yes, you can absolutely do that. I've seen a lot of students that want to take courses in CISC since there's so much overlap with ECE and CISC. Yes, you can do that. And if you meant to apply for CISC or ECE, the applications can be moved within departments, but please be aware that admission is not able to move between departments. If you get accepted into ECE or CIC, you cannot simply request to move your admission to the other department. Those are completely separate, so please be aware of that. And then the last question is, can I switch to the PhD program? Yes, normally our students are able to transfer to the PhD program after the first year in the program if you're able to find both an advisor and funding. Can you switch after the first semester? That's a little more rare. It doesn't usually happen, but it is possible, at least with the ECE department. I can't speak for other departments. So if you have any specific questions, you can feel free to reach out to me, but I just want to make sure to get those answers for you guys.
Okay, great. Allison, you wanted to say some, have some comments?
Yes, I had just real quickly, it's going back, and it's a good thing to reach out to your department contacts, especially with regarding funding opportunities. I know you guys have been talking with Kaylee and some questions have come up about her funding. On our website, there's different funding opportunities that are outside of that we have available to versus other departments. So it's very important to do that, as well as just different things about PhD programs switching from MS to PhD.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so the slides and the recordings will be posted here. If you need a reminder, I think I put this in, answered one of the questions about this, but this is the exact same location where you initially went to sign up for the webinars. The slides should be there now. The recordings will take a day or two. We are going to have very similar to this webinar next week on April 1st. Probably have a few different panelists, but the content will be the same. So if you registered for both, you likely do not need to attend this again, but you're certainly welcome to if you want. We will have an absolute slew of orientations and welcomes for the fall term from many different areas on our campus. One of the most important ones is certainly within your department. We have college welcomes for new PhD students. We have the graduate school that has welcomes. We have the International Center. Some of these are online programs, virtual programs. Some of these are online modules now. Some of these are in person. So we'll try to get this information out to you as it's available. Some of it's available now, but do know that this exists and feel free to reach out to us. And then we have kind of a resource fair earlier in the fall for all of our graduate student organizations. So not just within engineering, but campus-wide by our graduate schools. So if you want to get involved early beyond your own department, beyond your own research, your own courses, then we certainly invite you to do that. So know that these will be some of the next steps. This is just kind of a reminder of the key graduate staff and some faculty for each of the areas. Their emails were on the early slides. Here's some other emails, and do reach out to them for all questions that you have. We do have some areas that are the exact same for all new incoming students and some things that are vastly different depending on the department. So you have the contacts, and you have, most of you have been in touch with our graduate staff and faculty and ourselves for quite a while now. So I think this wraps up all of the slides for today. So what we'd like to do now for any, we maybe have 10 minutes or so here, is if there was any last questions that you have, or for any of our panelists, any of our current students, our graduate staff or faculty, if you felt that something wasn't fully answered or that you'd like to bring something else up, we're going to take the next 10 minutes to do that. So does anybody of our panelists have a topic that they want to cover or hit that they don't feel we've covered today?
Hey, Mike, I wanted to add something about transportation.
Yep.
I heard y'all talk about parking passes and personal vehicles, the bus system and everything. Another really great option that I've used and that I've seen some professors even use as well is getting an electric bike. It really helps overcome, the strain of those hills so you don't arrive and you're like, you've been sweating out in the summer or nothing like that. But the electric bike has been really, really useful and you can chain it up to the bike racks like a normal bike. You can register it with the UF Police Department, and they will call you if it gets stolen. They will call you if it gets stolen and they find it. So it's pretty cool. I just wanted to add that.
Good point, Jabari. So when I've been here 11 years, University of Florida. I was in the north in Michigan at University of Michigan for a decade plus before that. When I first came here, they have all these lots everywhere full of scooters, and everybody was scootering around campus, which I had never really seen that before. But since then, in those 11 years, this has now evolved to electric bikes, electric skateboards, other electric devices that I don't know what they are, but students are all over campus on them. It's very friendly for our campus for that. And when Jabari says hills, we do have a couple very slight grade here, but it's nothing compared to other cities or states with large hills around. So, but yeah, that's very popular here. Good point.
And if I could add to that, biking, just a regular bike, you can find used ones on things like Facebook Marketplace. Once you get to Gainesville, very easily, they're fairly affordable. You can get a decent used road bike for like $200. They're a great way to get around campus. Something we didn't really touch on is the difficulty of driving to and parking on campus, even if you do get a parking pass. A lot of students have cars and just don't drive them to campus because it's so difficult to park there. So the bus system is also super, super reliable. Probably the most reliable bus system I've ever seen, even after living in Boston for 2 years. It's always there every 15 minutes they come, and most of the apartment complexes have bus stops right outside. That makes it super easy to get to campus.
Yeah, that's a good point on parking. So we have built some very large scale newer parking garages on campus in recent years. So this is for both employees that work here or students. But in most cases, they're not going to be right next to the buildings you most frequent. You will have to park and then walk to the places you need to be or take a bus or something else. So, and some people prefer the cars and some not. So, okay, great. Other panelists that would like to cover any more topics in the last couple minutes here?
I would like to add one more point to this transportation. So the RTO bus service we have is totally free. We don't have to pay a single buck for it. And then if you want to study for late nights on campus, you also have SNAP service of university, which could drop you nearest to your apartment complexes or somewhere on campus dorms and all these things. So even SNAP is kind of like really a reliable thing.
Yes, great point. Great point. Okay, anybody else?
And Mike, I want to add on 2 more points. So if you are a student at University of Florida, I would say, please don't cold email professors regarding TA or any other opportunities. So until you complete your semester here, please go and talk to your professor personally if you like to work under him, but don't ever cold email any professor until you reach University of Florida. And I think that's the only thing. And one more thing is that please avoid doing plagiarism because the University of Florida doesn't accept anything like that. And the code of conduct is pretty serious here. So please avoid getting caught or don't ever have plagiarism when you're having an assignment or doing anything like that. So use the AI wisely, use it for learning, but not for cheating. So that's what I want to say.
Okay, so we do have different views on that in some departments. You're in computer science, correct? side?
Yeah.
Okay, so some departments feel differently about when and how to contact professors. I know Brittany in mechanical and aerospace engineering, do you want to touch on that?
Yes, thank you so much. So for mechanical and aerospace engineering specifically, we do encourage you to reach out to the faculty advisor that you're most interested in working with. To do this, I recommend starting by going to our website and taking a look at the research areas that we have. We also have a research faculty matrix, which can you can easily look through all the different faculty that we have and what area that they work in. From there, you can click on their profile to learn a little bit more about their specific research. Many of them have their websites posted there, so you can learn more. And then their email addresses and their phone numbers are there as well. So I recommend starting with the email address, contacting them, letting them know that you're interested in working with them and what area of research you're interested in pursuing in your PhD program. If you're having trouble getting in contact with the faculty member, I suggest going back to the research areas page. Each research area has a group email, which will contact all the faculty within that research area. So that'll kind of help you spread a wider net if you're having any issues getting responses. And if you have any further questions, please reach out to me. My email's in the slides, but I'll go ahead and reiterate it here. It's gradadmissions@mae.ufl.edu. I'd be more than happy to help, or we can meet virtually and discuss.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else? Last comments?
Sorry. So I just saw a question for safety concerns in Gainesville, and I just want to say there's a dedicated police department called UFPD in Gainesville that provides 24/7, 365 days a year. And there's an app called Data Safe, which provides instant information, instant notifications of anything that's happening on Gainesville. And there's a lot of buttons all around the campus that when you press it, the UFPD shows up in like 30 seconds, and they'll assist you. They'll give you their help whenever you want. So safety concern is not a big threat in Gainesville.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So I think at this
Mike,
time,
do you mind if I add just one more thing?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yes,
I just
no, go
realized I
ahead.
should have made one more clarification. For all of our PhD students, funding is a requirement of the program. And so contacting the faculty advisor and securing your advisor is the way that you secure your admission for the program. So even if you received an early admission letter, you still would not be fully admitted until you secure your advisor. So it's very important to reach out. And again, please don't hesitate to contact me if you have further questions about this. Thanks, Mike.
Yep, great. Thank you. Okay, so we will wrap up the webinar at this point. I feel like this has just been tremendously valuable. I've been doing these webinars since COVID started. Webinars popped up and we've done multiple ones every year. And this just feels like one of the more valuable ones. We just had a tremendous amount of assistance from over 20 of our graduate staff, some faculty and graduate students. And the turnout has been tremendous. More than 400 students have logged in today. And we're just going to have to cut the questions off. There's almost 300 have been answered. And every time a new one comes in, you answered, and then another one comes. So, but you do have all of our contact information, and you do have all of the slides. And we're here to help you. We're here through the spring enrollment of everyone and all the way until fall classes start in the fall before we'll begin with the next batch of students for the next class. So I want to thank all of you that joined us today for your time and for your interest in University of Florida. We do know that you are very talented students. We would not have admitted you if that was not the case, but we also know that you have options, that most of you apply to several schools and are admitted to several schools, and you're carefully thinking through who that final choice will be and where you want to enroll. And we hope that we've put our best foot forward here today, along with the entire year process, and that we've made the case that University of Florida would be an excellent choice for you. So with that, we will end, and do stay in touch as you're making your final decision. So thank you all for your time today, and we'll stay in touch.